Okay, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and fishing accomplices, good morning and welcome back to Fishing. So we are in mid-July right now, and it has been a scorcher of a summer so far. I've been fishing. I'm sorry I'm falling a little behind on my posting schedule. Today we're actually going to be looking for some striped bass in the morning. It's supposed to be up to like 95 degrees later today, but I was in the water yesterday, and while it was absolutely terrible, I got in late, didn't have a ton of time to fish, at least fish well. I did mark striped bass, but it being broad daylight, I couldn't make them touch anything. But the plan is, as surprising as it might be, at least it was for me, I'm going to try and go over those fish again and see if they'll bite at first light. So that's pretty much what we got planned to start. Unlike the last time I fished, I'm going to have a very good tide to work with. Final 2 hours of incoming, and then we might work an hour or two or maybe more of outgoing. Try and see if we can get some fluke. But either way, we're going to see if we can get on some good action. So stay tuned, because you know what we're about to do. Get some fishing accomplished. It is just absolutely glass out here this morning. And usually this is exactly what I want, but this heat we've been having, I'm actually praying for a little wind this morning. Not a lot, but enough to give some refreshment. It's already sub, if not total 80 degrees out. Water temps on marking surface 74. That's still water. I think bakes a lot faster, so whatever. Good kayaking conditions, but it's going to be a scorcher, so hopefully we can get on some hot bass action to start things off today. Okay, we are going to start things off the Elias shad. Right now we have a 5.5 inch on, which I think is a nice sweet spot for a variety of different fish sizes. You know, I don't know if the fish I was marking yesterday were larger fish, smaller fish, but this should cover all bases. Throwing a little Procurement Hayden on there. We have a 3/4 ounce JYG jig head on there. I really do like these jigs. If you see these at the tackle shop, I strongly encourage you to buy them. They're very strong shanked hooks, and they're not too large either, so they have multiple applications, fluke, bass, whatever. But yeah, let's see if this can do the trick. We're gonna start with this blurple color to start while it's still kind of dark out, and as the sun comes out we might switch to a chartreuse or a white. We'll see how it goes. Got some nervous water over here, which means we're getting close to the spot. I did see some bunker in the water yesterday, but they weren't schooling. It was just like individual ones popping up here and there. Tried to snag them, but I'm not that level expert of snagging bunker to make that happen. But let's see if we can get them without the bunker. All right, starting to mark fish, so let's see what we can do. Seeing some, not stacked yet. Let's see if we can get them on the vertical jig. Oh, just got smacked. Got him that time. Scrappy little guy to start things off. A hard start. It's a nice 24-inch fish. Good to go. So already got fish under the boat again. They are under us now. Got him. As he fouled, he's acting funny. No, he's fair. It's a hungry little guy. Hungry for this Elias shad. See if there's any bigger ones holding. I don't expect huge fish, but it'd be nice if we get some over 30 inches. It's asking a lot in July, I know, but geez, they're on, little guy. Maybe a little better. Maybe a little better, I don't know. Just scrappy. Maybe a little bigger. Getting closer to slot. Not a total slot, but I think maybe like 25-ish. Let's just get a frame of reference for y'all. Yeah, 26 and a half. Fun fish. Okay, it has not been difficult to get these fish to bite so far, but the sun is, as you can see, on the rise, so let's see what this does to the bite. We have a good tide, so I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic we can keep catching fish. We got fish under us, so see if we can stick with the same strategy. These look like some bigger marks if you ask me. Feels like another little guy. Yeah. Maybe a little better. Still like a 24, 26-inch fish. We're doing kind of a little bit of a slow troll while we're looking for these fish. I figure best case or worst case scenario, we're just trying to find them. If and when I get on top of them, I'll cut the motor, but until then, might as well just keep a line in the water. Man, as soon as that sun came up, that bite just got a lot more difficult, but I'm not giving up yet. And we're gonna switch presentations to something a little more finessey, especially if these fish are all in the smaller size, but I am optimistic there are some bigger ones mixed in there, if it's anything like it was back in June. So let's see if we can get out another school and cast this at them a little bit. Split tail smasher, probably about an ounce jig head. Yeah, so on this particular morning, I did try a number of different presentations and tactics to try and make these fish bite, but ultimately what seemed to be working best was just straight vertical jigging over these fish. And this water isn't terribly shallow. It's like in the 20 to 30 foot range. So I don't think I was spooking them too much, and with the tide being what it was, I think it was manageable to, or advantageous, we'll say, to try and stay on top of them and jig. But I did try casting, I did try, you know, working more finesse and different lures, but ultimately those paddle tails at like the 5-inch range was the key. These fish are certainly on the move. Best bite we've had is just this vertical jig mini troll, so any way I can get them in July, I'll take it. Yeah, that's a nice stack of fish. If this were June, this would be a sure thing, but July, who knows? this heat. There he is. That's a little one. Definitely a smaller one. That feels a bit better. That feels a bit better. Those head shakes feel real. That's definitely a better fish. Definitely a better fish. That's not a 24-incher. Easy. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. That's an overslot. He held it. That's a nice one. Probably like a 35-incher thereabouts. Do a quick revive and get her back. Just wait for those fins to go up. Got our first nice one, which was good. So it's not just baby fish. See if we can get another. Definitely on a good school right now. Yeah, so after that fish, I continued to fish, obviously, and there were still fish to be marked, but by that point in the morning, it was about probably around 7, I want to say, and the bite just really started to turn off. Again, still marking fish, but at this point, it was really difficult to make them strike a lure, and I tried. I gave it probably another hour of moving around on different schools of fish. To which point, eventually, I decided to give it a bit of a break. All right, so as we move to our next spot, honestly, I'll take whatever I can get. Fluke, porgies, even sea robins. I'm not going to be picky. I'll just be happy to catch something. But one thing I am picky towards, as you know, wait for it. You heard it. It's going to be our Seltzer of the day. And this is a brand new one. Never had this before, the brand or the flavor for this brand. It's called Rambler. This is a lemon lime. It's Texas based, I guess. Never seen this before, but saw it at the grocery store and had to check it out. So lemon lime. I like to think that that's like the standard issue, like cheese pizza slice. You know, if you can't do this right, you can't do anything right. That's a very good first impression. This is a lot of flavor for a lime seltzer. It's not sweetened or anything, but it definitely packs a punch, way more than your typical lemon lime. It's almost comparable to some of the key lime flavors I've had for things like Waterloo or LaCroix. But yeah, I really like this. Easy 9. Check these guys out. Rambler, definitely a solid seltzer, full endorsement. But enough of that, let's get back on the fish. So the original plan after the seltzer review was to go chasing fluke or sea bass or porgies or whatever I can find. But on the way to that, I did encounter some schools of bunkers. So I had the bright idea that if I could snag some bunker and bring them back to where I was fishing in the morning, I can potentially get on a good live lining bite. So I did collect a few bunker and eventually made my way back to the spot. But unfortunately, bites were very difficult to come by. You spit it? Come on. Yeah, so I gave that live lining at least an hour and I only had that one real bite. Again, not because there weren't fish around, they were just being really picky, and I guess it makes sense with how hot things have been. Speaking of heat, once it was clear these bass wouldn't really cooperate, I decided just to get out. Didn't even wait for the outgoing. Just knowing that it was going to be 95 degrees was all the motivation I needed to get off the water on an earlier note this day. But thanks for always watching. I'll catch the next one. Goodbye from fishing.